What's up, sports fans? Welcome to another episode of the Roll Stable Podcast. Thank you for taking some time out to watch or listen to the show. Remember, you can find all video episodes on our UCM Athletics YouTube page, or you can listen at ucmathletics.com, our mobile app, or on Spotify. Busy week ahead. As of recording this, we have baseball and softball getting ready to play this weekend, along with the regular season finale of Mules and Jennies basketball. Senior Day coming up on Saturday. Soccer and volleyball will actually be playing their first games of their shortened spring season, and Jennies bowling is about to start a stretch of 3 straight weeks of competition. And, of course, it's postseason time for MIAA track and field and Mules wrestling. Track team gets set for the MIAA championships. It's actually going to be the first MIAA championship trophy handed out since the pandemic started, and wrestling will compete in the first NCAA competition since then at their regional championship this weekend. All that to say, there's a lot happening right now. Hope you can get out, support your favorite Mules and Jennies in a safe way, and enjoy it as things are slowly starting to get back to normal. And joining me today, someone hoping to take home one of those MIAA championship trophies from Raytown, Missouri, thrower on the Jennies track and field team, Alisha Straws. Alisha, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Joe. Glad to be here.
How you doing this week?
You know, I'm pretty good. It's a good week. I'm excited for this weekend coming up. Practice has been going pretty good. Good weather. I'm excited, yeah.
Now, you're definitely the first person and probably the only one I'll ever have on this show that I don't need to worry about finding the studio.
Yeah,
Not
that's
going to
true.
struggle. I'm actually kind of on your turf right now. A little behind the scenes. Alisha, digital media production student. She just finished working the front desk a couple of minutes ago down at the DMP Labs. You only had to walk about 25 feet over here once your shift was finished.
Yeah.
What do you do working down here?
Ooh, what don't I do? You kind of dabble in a little bit of everything. I help students, get digital media equipment, get it checked out for them, work with the inventory in the back, help students edit videos, create videos, get them set up in studios, a little bit of this and that, everywhere in between.
I definitely want to get more into that later, but I know right now your focus is on conference week.
Yes.
That's coming up Saturday and Sunday. Let's start with that. I imagine you'll be in the shot put, probably not the weight throw.
Not the weight throw.
Okay, so just shot put. So what's it like the week preceding the conference meet?
Ooh, it's intense. It's always game time, every single practice, every single week. But, it's a little more nitpicky come conference week. Our coach, Tucker Woolsey, he's been on us this week, but it's been really productive, kind of focusing more with those older student athletes and a few of the young ones. We have Addison Snowball and Rachel Malloy, who are two of the young ones who are going to be going this weekend. But really just focusing in with those athletes, trying to grind down technique, perfect stuff as much as we can this week going into the weekend. So, yeah.
Now, there are some track teams that really gear up for nationals and don't take the conference meet so hard. That's not the case here at UCM. We like to put in a good effort at the conference meet, and we pride ourselves on taking home championship trophies. Hasn't been done in a couple of years at UCM on the women's side. What would it mean to you to bring home an MIAA championship trophy?
Oh, my goodness. It would mean a lot. The girls we haven't had the numbers, really, to seal in a win at the conference championship. But compared to this year, I think this is our best bet to win. We're ranked up pretty high nationally, and everyone knows the MIAA is the hardest D2 conference, at least in track and field. So I think we really got a good shot to win it this year. I'm really excited, especially my senior year, to bring it home. It'd be amazing. I'd be really happy with it.
No doubt, this is your 4th indoor conference championship meet.
Yes.
in the shot, but you've improved every year that you've been there. Finished 3rd last year, and currently you're ranked 2nd in the conference behind your own teammate, Ashlyn Burton. What is it like having a teammate to work with like Ashlyn?
Oh, Ashlyn, that chick, she's an athlete for sure. Super strong competitor, super strong mindset, overall good friend and great teammate. It's always cool to train with someone who's as elite as she is. She's ranked, I believe, she's in the top maybe 4 or 3 in the nation right now. I'm ranked 8th in the nation. So competing with someone like that on a daily, it's inspiring because you see some things that she does that it's like, okay, I could improve on that. But then in return, like, I have some things that I may be a little better at, technique-wise, maybe in the weight room or something like that. And we kind of bounce off of each other, meet the best of both worlds, and come together and have 2 really killer shot putters. So it's been fun. it's been a long road. Been together all 4 years that we've been here. So, yeah, it's pretty exciting to see how far we've come along.
Yeah, and you personally, like I said, you started out kind of going to conference meets, but you've improved each and every year.
Yeah.
It's really been a great success story for you. You know, you've been, probably around 15th your first year, then maybe 10th, and you've consistently moved up. What's been some of the keys to your success?
Ooh, that's a good question.
What's kind of helped you improve in the last couple of years?
I'd say, honestly, having the confidence, like, you do so many reps during the week and you do it so repetitively. And then once you get into the ring, when you're in those younger years, it's really easy to let the getting too worried and the anxiety and everything of being at a huge meet and all these people are older than me and everything like that get into your head and you kind of forget what you do at practice. It's the same thing, just a different place, maybe a few more eyeballs on you, but not too many. I think the confidence that you gain your junior and senior year especially is just like, hey, I've done this for 3 or 4 years, I've done all of these reps, I've prepared, I'm confident, like I know what to do. Like just take a deep breath and just throw, and I think that's really helped me this year. And with the pandemic, it's kind of just like, when's your last meet going to be? No one ever really knows.
Anything can happen.
Yeah, anything can happen as we've seen. So just kind of taking every opportunity as your last one, as corny. That sounds really corny, but you know what I mean? Like, act like this is your last time you're ever going to throw. And then, hey, it is what it
might
is.
Be.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't know what you're going to get. We didn't have a national meet last year. Didn't have an entire outdoor season.
Yeah.
And even this year, we had a couple meets canceled. So, you're lucky anytime you get the opportunity to compete, to get in the ring and throw.
Yeah, so, I agree 100%.
I know it's a lot of fun when we have certain athletes come in and they're highly touted and they make an immediate impact right away. They're winning conference meets or going to national meet. But I think it's just as rewarding, I know, for coaches to see an athlete like yourself who works hard for 4 years and you see that improvement each and every year. And I think that's a testament to yourself as an athlete and also to our coaches. You mentioned earlier working with Coach Tucker Woolsey.
Oh, yeah.
What is it like having him on staff?
He is one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. He's incredible. He knows the mechanics down to the last muscle in your body. He's so smart. Sometimes what he says just goes right over my head. So I make him act out what I'm supposed to be doing. And he can do it on gravel in tennis shoes with a coat on. And sometimes I can't even do it in the ring with a shot put on. But that's just what makes it even more amazing. But no, he's a great coach. He works really well with my personality. Like you mentioned, I wasn't that, number one in the high school, state, or whatever like that coming in. But I knew I was good. And when I talked to the head coach, Kip, I was like, hey, if you bring me here, I'll show you I can work hard. I'm dedicated to this. I really love throwing. And I wouldn't say he took a chance on me because it wasn't like I was bad or anything. I just wasn't that 1, 2, 3, girl coming out of high school. But he took the chance, and I think I've proven myself, especially this past year. Like you said, I got podium at indoor conference. Who knows what I would have done at outdoor conference. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, got canceled. But it's whatever. But, no, this has really been a fun journey, and, I'm just trying to do the most I can, hopefully qualify for nationals this weekend and secure my spot in, go to Alabama and, put Central Missouri on the map for shot put for women. I think it'd be really fun to have 2 of us there.
Yeah, the national meet is something you haven't had a chance to experience just yet. I was looking earlier at the rankings. I think you're about tied for 8th. I know the numbers that they're taking to the meet this year are a little bit lower than normal. So you're right there right now. Obviously, conference meets are big for a lot of girls, a lot of teams. So you got to throw big this week. But I know you got to be itching to get to a national meet.
Yes, I am. I'm itching for it just because, the whole experience, for one, to say you even went means like you're in like the top 10 percentile, of athletes in NCAA in the nation. So that'd be really special. And along with that, just traveling, like the whole experience with the track team, it's harder than I think there's some other sports to get really far out because you're traveling with like 100+ people opposed to like a volleyball team or a basketball team. You can go to... Like, I remember the volleyball team a few years ago was thinking about going to China, you can do that.
If the pandemic didn't happen.
Yeah, if the pandemic didn't happen. But you can do that when you're only traveling with, like, maybe 20 people. I could be a little off, but around 20 people opposed to, like, 115 or whatever it'd be for a track team. So, just traveling a little bit further is always something I enjoy doing and making the memories with some cool teammates.
How do you think the Jennies can do it at a national meet? Obviously, they have high expectations, ranked 3rd in the nation right now, have been for a couple weeks. So nationally at the conference meet, what are you expecting?
I think we can win it. I really think we can take it all the way this year. We have some awesome underclassmen. Like, we have Kayla Goodwin. She's amazing. Amazing. I can't say enough good things about the chick. She's super nice, super dedicated, and just overall really, really great athletes. You have Hannah Van, who also plays volleyball. Great multi. She's a great jumper, great sprinter, great hurdler. Great high jumper. She can do anything. But I feel like this year we have we have some really good athletes all around the field. It's not just on the track or it's not just in the field events. We're pretty well-rounded this year, young and old athletes. So I think we could take it home this year.
Now, I know that this is something I talked about with coaches before, and I've been on track teams myself. They can get kind of cliquey, you hang out with your event groups.
Yeah.
Throws especially, there's a lot of times indoor seasons going on, everyone's running on the track inside. You guys are still throwing outside. And Coach Woolsey likes getting you out there as much as possible. So, how is it for you guys to kind of commingle with the rest of your team? Is that something that comes easily to you, or is it still kind of a little awkward at times?
I would say it can get a little cliquey just because, like how you mentioned, how specific you get in your event. You just spend all your time with that certain group of people. But I would say I think the team has done better the past few years getting out of the clickiness of your event squad, which it's always good. It's kind of involuntary. It's not like people, choose like,
right.
Hey, I'm only going to hang out.
Yeah.
No.
Nothing like that.
Yeah, I understand.
It just kind of happens.
It's just the nature of the sport,
Yeah.
Day. But it's a lot better. I think our team, opposed to a lot of other schools in the conference, do a really good job of supporting everyone. Like you have some schools like, not going to name any schools, but like no one will be over there to watch their jumpers or no one will be there to watch their throwers, and they'll only have people going there for the runners. And I think our school does a really good job. We have numbers. Everyone talks to everyone on the team. There's no like, oh, I don't like the cross kids or I don't like the throwers for whatever reason. Everyone does a pretty good job of getting together. They've implemented a whole lot of girls meetings, guys meetings, whole team meetings this year, so and everyone gets along. There's an oddly, for how large of a group we are, everyone is kind of similar in the way, like, we're all we're all athletes, but, we're all here with one objective. We all want to be better, and we'll all do whatever it takes to help our teammates out. And a part of that is building, a friendship and a chemistry with one another to be able to, like, support them through some of the hard times and, be there to cheer them on when stuff goes good. So, yeah.
Yeah, and, you don't necessarily have to be best friends with everybody on the team, but it's nice to be at a conference meet, at those big championship-type meets, and go maybe see an event that you don't compete in, cheer on some of your teammates. I always enjoy going to those meets and seeing the atmosphere that UCM brings.
Yeah, me too. People do a good job of that, for sure, on our team.
So you've been primarily focusing on the shot put probably the last year or so. I know you dabbled in some of the other throwing events. Why just the shot put now?
Well, when I first got here, I was a 4-eventer, so I did shot, disc, weight, and hammer. But people don't realize when people throw, like, weight and hammer, you pick that up the first time when you get to college, and that's not an easy thing to throw, You've got a ball on a chain, and then for weight, you have a 20-pound or 25, however heavy it is, ball on a shorter chain. So I think, really, within 4 years, to get to an elite level that you have to compete at to do well in the MIAA, you really got to be a natural at it. Like, for example, Rachel Malloy, that chick is a natural at it, and I think Tucker has done a good job lately of, specializing some athletes. Like, we've had a lot of great athletes in the past who are 4-eventers, like Nathan Cummings and stuff like that. But then you have, like, somebody like Nathan Leiby who threw weight and hammer only and did super well in it. Yeah, but then, you have, like, those freaks of nature like Heaven, and she can do anything on this earth, you know what I mean? But for me, I wasn't that, like, top dog athlete, so just bringing it back into home and just throwing shot and disc was something I felt like I could excel more in, and I wanted to spend more time just in those events, because I knew I could do well. Hammer and weight, like, I wasn't terrible at it, but I wasn't great. I knew I wouldn't ever hit podium. I knew I wouldn't go to nationals for it. So, I just talked to my coach, and I was like, how would you feel about this? And he was like, that's completely fine. Let's chase it. Let's work hard. And that's what I've been doing. It's gone pretty well, I think.
Yeah, I think so, too. Like you said, made the podium at conference. Just one of those things you kind of got to weigh your options. Or
if
I spend so much time trying to get marginally better
Mm-hmm.
in something I'm not great at right now, how much is it taken away from something I could really succeed at?
Exactly, yeah, and that's what he started doing. For me, that happened my junior year, and kind of the same with Ashlyn. She's still throwing weight, but she's not really throwing hammer. Kind of backed away from some of it some more.
Yeah, I've
These
noticed
past
that
few
this indoor
years.
season.
Yeah, but then some of the younger ones, like some of the younger kids, are getting more specific. You know, some of them the first few months, okay, you're not picking up shot put as well as I would like you to. Let's drop shot put, and you'll be disc, hammer, weight. You know, some people aren't picking up hammer as well. Well, okay, maybe you'll try weight and you'll just do shot and disc, you know, something like that. And I think it helps. 4 events, you gotta be one special athlete to do 4 events super well, you know, and be competitive in all 4.
To do well in them.
Yeah.
To compete in them is one thing. To do well in them, it's a completely different.
Exactly. Yeah, I didn't compete. I could throw the hammer in the way, but it was kind of like everyone turn away. Everyone turn away while Alisha throws weight, and then we'll return when she throws a shot.
Now, does Missouri High School have hammer throw?
Not when I was there.
No,
They had just
neither.
got
Okay.
javelin like my junior year. Yeah, it wasn't even a scored event for a while.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's pretty
there's-
interesting.
I know high school track teams, they have hundreds of kids because it's easy for kids to do track and field around the track, but
Yeah.
throwing sometimes I don't think kids naturally gravitate toward throwing. So how did you get
No.
started with throwing events?
Oh my goodness. You're completely correct. Well, okay, go back to, it starts kind of in middle school. So my brother, I have an older brother who's 2 years older than me. In middle school, you couldn't do track until you were in 7th grade.
Okay.
And so he was in 8th grade when I was in 6th grade. So me and my sister were the managers. And so we were just watching. You know, I didn't even know what throwing was. I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't really even know that track was a thing until I got there. So, you know, the season starts, everyone's all together, and, you know, we all condition together and everything like that. And then people start to break off into hurdles, sprints. They kind of had pole vault, but that was kind of sketch for middle
Yeah, I was gonna
schoolers.
say
Yeah,
7th grade pole
a little,
vault.
a little sketch. But then, you know, you had the throwers and everyone, and we bounced around and helped everyone. So come around 7th grade, it's my time to start conditioning, and oh my gosh, I hated the running. I hated it. My sister did cross country and was a jumper. You know, we're twins, but she just had the smaller build. You know, I was always the stronger one with the muscles. Dude, man, I hated the running. It was terrible.
I had no idea that you were a twin.
Yeah, I am a twin.
Wow.
She goes here too.
Really?
Yeah. Her name's Brianna. I'm baby A. She's baby B. Yeah.
That's awesome. I had no idea about that. I mean,
Yeah, you wouldn't
obviously
even.
she's not on the track team.
No, she wasn't very good. It's okay. Love the girl to death. Wasn't very good at sports, but smart chick. She's gonna be a doctor. My brother's gonna be a doctor, and I'm gonna do media. So, whatever. But back to the story. So yeah, I hated running. I was like, okay, let me go over there with the chubby kids. You know, that's just a stereotype of throwers, and it's okay.
Sure.
It doesn't hurt anyone's feelings, you know. Well, it never hurt my feelings, at least. So then, you know, I went with them, and I did good for middle school. People were like, okay, she's kind of good. And then high school came, and high school is just kind of a big social event, you know. A lot of the people that
that's
join
a
the track
lot
team.
of
Yeah,
track
or just to stay conditioned for whatever. So, you know, it was like me throwing and then a bunch of linemen. You know,
Sure,
and then there was
football
like,
players, yeah.
yeah, and then we'd have like some random high school like football coach, and he'd just find the biggest girl in the school, like the tallest, strongest looking chick in the school, and she'd tower over me. I'd be like, okay, well, you know, let's just throw this thing. And then, you know, I started getting better, and my junior year, I got hooked up with like an AAU coach. So I would go to track practice after school, like school practice from like 2:30 to like 4:30, and then I'd go and train with this coach named Ian Moses, and he completely changed my throwing. So then I throw with him from like 4 to like 6:45 every single day,
Wow.
Monday through Friday. But that was only for like a month of my junior season and then all of my senior season. And honestly, if it wasn't for him, I don't think I would have gone and done college sports. But I wish I would have been with him for longer, because I probably would have been like one of those top athletes that could have gone potentially D1 maybe, but been really good at the D2 level that I am now. So yeah, that's my story.
Hey, I mean, ranked in the top 10 in the D2, I think you're doing pretty good.
Man, I'm trying.
But That's cool. You knew pretty early on that you wanted to, you know, take it seriously, take the throwing event seriously, and got a new coach for it. When did you first hear from UCM? Was that a school that you knew that you wanted to go to?
You know, no, it wasn't. I only live like 45 minutes away, so, you know, Alisha, big dreaming, wanted to go as far as I could. You know, I was like, I don't want to go to Central Missouri. Everyone from my high school goes there. You know, I don't want it to be Raytown High School Part 2. But going into, I knew I wanted to do sports, but no college coaches were looking at me because I dislocated my kneecap going into my senior season. So I was out for like a month before. So I just started emailing a bunch of these coaches. I was like, basically like, give me a chance, you know. YouTube, send them my YouTube videos and everything like that. And I got Kip's email, and I emailed it to him. And, you know, we were talking for a little bit, talking about scholarships and all that, you know, the opportunity. I came down here. He was like, I like you. You know, I want you to come. And that's how I ended up here. Yeah. It just worked out.
Was he the only coach that reached out to you?
No, I was talking to a few coaches in Tennessee and Baker, and there's some other smaller schools, you know, private schools and stuff like that, and a few schools for swim and a few schools for volleyball that were like smaller JUCO and like.
I was going to say, did you do any other sports?
Yeah, I played basketball, but that was pretty rough. That was really rough actually. And I swam. I was pretty good at swimming. I ranked in the conference, but nothing too great. Mm-hmm. And then I played volleyball, and I did track. So yeah.
How far did you in high school? Did you go with swimming and volleyball? Did you do it all the way through senior year?
Yeah, I did volleyball all 4 years with all my best friends, so that was pretty fun. And swim, I picked it up. I did it like sophomore, junior, senior year. Mm-hmm. That's hard. That's a hard sport, man.
Sure. Yeah.
People don't give swimming the credit it needs. Swimming is hard.
What events did you do in the pool?
I did a breaststroke.
Okay.
It was hard. I mean, it's the slowest event, you know. You just kind of go out there like a frog. I was a flyer, too.
What is a flyer?
The fly is like where you go over your shoulders.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, you kind of like dolphin kick. Yeah, dude, it's intense. Michael Phelps out there, but, you know, rough practices for sure. But I appreciate the sport.
Yeah, swimming's not something I was ever able to really be good at. Mm-hmm. I kind of stayed on the track. I stuck with track and field.
Yeah, I don't mind. It's tough.
How do you feel about so many girls and guys now in high school and even younger starting in Little League get so specialized with their sports, but you obviously were such a multiple sport athlete. How do you feel that helped you out in the shot put?
You know, I was actually a thing going back and forth for a little bit with my brother because he went and played football at Northwest, and he was basically he did football and basketball for a really long time, and then he dropped basketball going into high school. So he was pretty specialized in just football. Me, I was like, I don't know what I want to do, you know? Like, in middle school, I played a bunch of different sports, too. I played basketball and volleyball in middle school, too, and I was like, I don't feel like I need to pick, you know? Mm-hmm. Track wasn't year-round, you know, in high school, so I was like, well, what am I going to do with these other however many months, 5 months of high school or something like that? He was like, you should be training outside, and I was like, that's just not an option. Like, the coach wasn't around, my specialized coach wasn't around until I got pretty later on, and I was like, you know, I'm just going to keep doing whatever I want to do, you know? I just kept doing as many sports as I wanted to. And I think it worked out for me. Honestly, though, these kids that are getting super specialized, that could take you so far. I think, like, in track and field, like, that's going to take you to your, like, big D1 schools and your Olympian athletes, like Raven Saunders, heck of a thrower, 19 plus in the shot put. That girl's been so specialized for so long. Like, I understand why, you know, like, you can get to that level when you have kids starting at like 4 and 5 and 6 years old and like AAU and stuff like that. And it's like, heck yeah, they're going to be some amazing athletes. But I think the burnout rate when you just have a kid in one sport like that for like, what would it be, like 18 years by the time you graduated college. I know so many people who have dropped out, you know, like, I'm done with this sport. My parents pushed it too hard on me for too long, you know. I'm thankful my parents let me do whatever I want to do sports-wise, you know. But specializing, dude, it can take you a long way if you can stick with it and have the right, like, relationship with the sport, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that certain athletes are going to thrive in that, and they're going to become big D1 athletes and, you know, Olympic qualifiers and things like that. But I don't know how many of them are going to hit on that. There's going to be a lot of them, like you said, that burn out and either just don't want to do it anymore, they get tired of it, or want to try something else.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely something that parents, that they need to weigh. Debate about doing multiple sports or really drive home just this one. You gotta hope that you have the right one if you're just putting one sport on them for 18 years, starting them at 5 years old.
Right, for sure.
But there's definitely been, I think, a kind of a youth movement going on in track and field. I know when I was growing up, you really just had your high school and middle school, and that was kind of it for track and field. I think there's more youth meets and stuff like that being put on now. Is that something you were able to take part in when you were younger, or
no?
Did that even precede you?
I didn't. I started. I was 12, and then I didn't even know AAU track was a thing. Like, I knew of like AAU basketball and everything that, but I had no clue that there was a whole market. It's huge. Track is so big outside of...
Yeah, it's getting a lot more popular now with
the competition.
AAU, like that, outside of schools.
Yeah, I coached, for the past few summers, I've coached a few younger girls and then traveled with them for AAU meets and, Drake relays and everything like that. And then when I go there, there'd be like little 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 4-year-olds, like all decked out, like sleeves up, the headbands and everything. And they go out there and run. I'm like, I had no clue this universe even existed until now.
Yeah, definitely didn't. I didn't do anything like that when I was their age.
It's serious. Yeah, like
running
4-year-olds.
Just in the backyard.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, just being a kid. But these kids are like training hard. But yeah, that goes into the whole burnout thing. How would it work for me? I don't know. Because, I just didn't do it. But I bet for some of them it goes great. And that's awesome that you can get into that young. But I just had no clue that it even existed that young.
Now, what does it take to be a thrower here at UCM? I've talked with Heaven Warner a lot about just some of the legendary things in the weight room that Tucker's put her through.
Oh, yeah.
Can you give us a glimpse at some of that?
A glimpse of what it takes to be a thrower. Yeah. Tucker... It's insane. Like, he knows what he's doing, though. Sometimes you look at it and you're like, what the heck is this workout going to be like, But he gets all his workout, well, not all of them. He creates a lot of them. He's a mastermind. But this guy, Javor, he's like Russian or German or something like that. It's insane. The workouts, the duration, the sets, the weights, the lifts themselves, For a long time, it was like you didn't even look at what your workout was the next morning because, you're like going to try to sleep through your alarm or something like that. But then, you just have to make it up later in the day and then you'd have to run if you missed weight, But honestly, the weight room atmosphere, when there used to be that one small weight room in the multi, it was hectic, but like a good hectic. Like chaotic, rock music blaring, You have people maxing out like every other week, doing 95% for like 5 sets of 3 and stuff like that. Like, that's insane. It's 95% of my max.
Yeah.
I should only be able to hit that like twice, but you're asking me to do it for like 5 sets of 8, but everyone just kind of supports each other, Yeah, it's hectic. That's a good word to describe it. But I mean, hey, you get big and you get strong and you throw far.
What's the hardest workout that he's put you through?
Oh. Well, there's this lift called wave back wave. So you do like, okay, so say the set was like 10, 9, 10. So you do 10 squats. Okay, so say you have like maybe like 175 pounds on the rack. You do 10 squats and then you do like 9 wave squats. You do like half pulsing, a jump squat, and then a full squat. And then that counts as one of the 9. Okay. So you do 10 full squats, 9 of those, which is actually comes out to like 45 reps, and then another 10. And that counts as 1. That whole thing counts as 1. And then you do like 8 of those. And I remember me and Ashlyn had those earlier this year when we were conditioning. And the runners were on the other side of the weight room. And Cam Holloman, she's a jumper. She talked to me later in the day. And she was like, "Are you okay?" She was like, "You guys are just leaning over." I was like, "That's just how it goes, You just get through it, You kind of just grit your teeth and just do it.
The life of a thrower.
Yeah, life of a thrower. And then you go home and you can eat. You go home and eat a bunch, and then you're okay. And then you go throw later.
Yeah, and it's funny. We saw Nate Cummings working at our home meet, and I was talking with him. He was an All-American thrower for UCM. He's lost about like 50 pounds.
Yeah.
In a couple months.
Yeah.
So eating, diet, your whole life kind of changes.
Yes, it
does. Once you get out of throwing. Is that something you're kind of looking forward to?
Yes. Weight's kind of taboo with some people, but for me, I don't mind it. But definitely when you come in here, if you want to be a successful thrower, like, I'd say UCM doesn't really recruit the super, super heavy throwers. Like the stereotypical, what you might picture in your mind for a thrower, they don't recruit that. They usually recruit the more athletic build throwers, but they're still going to expect you. They're not like, hey, we want you to put on 20 pounds or something like that. But you just know to be good. They always say mass moves mass. And hey, that's so true. People come in, girls, you put on maybe 20 to 30 pounds when you're going to be here over the 4 years. And that's pretty normal. The guys, oh my gosh, I've seen we have one of the boys right now, Jacob, he's already put on like 25 pounds. Since the year started, and that's just kind of what it takes to be good, And you kind of just accept it for 4 years. Hey, you're going to be a little chunky. Those oversized clothes you bought are going to fit kind of normal. And then you graduate, and it just slides off so easily because you don't have to eat as much, and everything like that. You don't have to train these crazy Russian workouts and everything like that, and you can just kind of start living a normal life again.
Sure, and your caloric intake's going down.
Yes,
and,
yes.
You mentioned those big, heavy, stereotypical thrower bodies. I think that's almost kind of a thing of the past too.
Yeah, I think so.
A lot of schools are recruiting more of those athletic type bodies.
Yeah.
Like was it Maggie Ewan down in Arizona State? She's just an athletic looking body.
Yeah.
Definitely not one of those just large 2-seat type people anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think you're seeing that much more in the throws.
Yeah, not as much as before. Everything you'd picture before would be like these huge like giants and monsters, but I think it's become such a liability because once you get into training super hard and lifting super hard, it's a lot easier to get hurt. I mean, the weightlifting that we do and everything like that, you can still get hurt at any athletic level, no matter what your body shape is. But I think just getting into these athletic trends, people are showing like, hey, you can look however. You could be the tiniest girl out there, like Rachel Schultz, one of the smallest girls I think the throwing team has probably ever seen. And she's done amazing in the hammer.
Yeah, she really has.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool, So yeah, you don't have to be this huge giant, but hey, putting on a little bit of Chipotle pounds doesn't hurt. You know what I mean?
Get the double meat order.
Yeah, double meat, double guac, extra
what's
cheese.
your Chipotle order?
Ooh, Chipotle. Bowl to go, tortilla on the side, white rice, black beans, half and half, chicken and steak, all 3 salsas, cheese, corn, and a guac on the side.
On the side guac. Okay, you do the fajita veg?
If it's the red ones, the green peppers, they're just too bitter for me. I like the sweet peppers.
Have you had the carne asada steak?
I did. It was okay.
I like the carne asada steak with my burrito bowls.
That sounds fire, but that's extra too,
That is actually, that's a little more than the regular steak right now. But sometimes it's worth it.
Oh, yeah. You gotta splurge sometimes.
So, UC Young Throws has just such an incredible tradition of success at the conference and the national level. Is that something you guys talk about at all with Tucker about living up to the greats? We had the Hall of Fame coming up this weekend. We got 2 throwers going in, Heaven Warner, Kenesha Ray Noor, a couple of national champions. What's it like following in their footsteps?
It's intense. When my first few years, Heaven was still training with us some, and JT was training with us some, and he went on to do a little bit of post-collegiate, and we heard a lot about Kenesha too, and there's a whole kind of shrine in the thrower shed about the top 10 list, All-Americans. Like you have a thing of Drew up there, 17 All-Americans. I was trying to do the math my freshman year. I was like, how does that make sense? I was like, that makes no sense, but and he comes back a lot too and helps with us, and it's kind of just instilled in the throwers when you get here when you're pretty young, like, hey, this is what the footsteps that were paved for you when you got here. We're not trying to let that die, you know what I mean? So kind of this, like, true grit, like, let's make it happen type of attitude is kind of already there in our coach, and, it's there in the upperclassmen. So I think showing by example kind of just puts this perspective, like, hey, nothing but the best is expected of you when you're here. There's so many greats that have came before. And like you mentioned, when we had the home meet, Nate came, you don't have to do that. You don't get paid to come back and everything like that. But, like, the care that people have and the tradition and the culture kind of in our throws program here kind of shows. And examples like that, like, people want to see you succeed and everything like that. So, yeah, it's super special here. I'm excited to be a part of the program. I think it's one of the best D2 programs in the nation. But, I mean, I'm a little biased. But that's okay.
We've had an All-American in a throwing event. I just looked this up every year since 2004. Obviously, last year, it doesn't count. We didn't have a national.
Yeah, that's okay.
Are you going to be carrying that on in 2021? You going to be the next one?
Hey, I hope so. I'm going to try. I'm going to try my hardest. This weekend, hopefully, throw really good. Last weekend went pretty good. Scratched a big throw, but that's okay. It always tells you, hey, I can do it. I just got to keep it in. Try to PR and move up past this little hump of girls that I'm kind of clustered in with for the national meet. Try to get into that fifth, really sixth in the nation spot. Part. Yeah. Because, people pop off at conference,
that's right.
That's the time when people shock people, people choke, everything in between happens at conference. So, just if I can go out there, if I do what I know how to do, I should be fine and secure my spot in, and like you mentioned, I'm ranked 8th in the nation right now. That puts you at All-American, but hey, once you get to the nationals, you have to throw your best.
Yeah,
you know,
you got to show up.
you have to show up. You know, you can't just
name.
throw. You can't just throw. You have to throw your best and better than your best to become an All-American. You know, and I think, hey, that's what me and Ashley's mindset has been. You know, let's get up on that podium this weekend, and then let's get up on that podium in 2 weeks after that.
Yeah, there's always surprises at the national meet. I remember. I think Nate Cummings, his first national meet as a little baby
he was
freshman.
like freshman or
all of a sudden
sophomore.
came up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
He was in, I think, the first flight. Comes up, makes finals, pops off another big throw.
Yeah.
So he finishes fourth.
Yeah, I was just talking about that with Addison Snowball the other day. I was like, hey, it's possible, you know. I was like, I remember when that happened with him, you know. Anyone can do it, you know. Just, hey, do your best. But I always say you can't measure your success on if you make it to nationals or how you rank at nationals, because all you can control is what you do, you know.
Right.
Hey, if I go out there and throw 15 meters, which would be a great PR for me, and then, you know, all these girls from the woodworks come out and throw 15:20 and 15:40, hey, I did my best, and that was the best I could do that day. You know, you can't be mad at that. So
No, certainly not. And you got to kind of sometimes just tip your cap when to other great performances as well.
Mm-hmm.
I want to come back a little bit to the digital media production side of things.
Oh, yeah.
You're kind of hometown here in the studio. What have you done with the UCM DMP program that's kind of been a highlight for you? You do so many different things for the UCM streaming services on our Blue Frame network, and you've gone to different places. What are some of your favorites?
Ooh, some of my favorites. I had a lot of fun doing the regional soccer tournaments. I think that was in 2019. They were super cold. Oh my goodness. I was up on a rig, maybe 20 feet up in the air. I could barely hold my hands, but the game went to a shootout.
Mm-hmm.
It was so crazy. You know, the guys were all yelling in the truck in my headset, and everyone was yelling out there. And it was pretty early in the morning. It was maybe like noon or 1 o'clock, and it was gloomy, but that was a great day. And then we went to the MIAA basketball tournament in Kansas City last year.
Right, UCM always has been helping out with that.
Yeah,
and
and
schools.
The Jennies went to the championship, and that was a crazy game. But that was a whole lot of fun. I mean, especially because we won. But then, like, seeing, you know what's crazy? Always watching, like, the Northwest fans at games. Like, dude, they come out hard. Like,
they
UCM travels really well, especially to support the basketball teams. But, oh, my gosh, they will travel far, high, and wide to watch their men's team play, you know?
Yeah, it's a lot easier for them just going into Kansas City, just a couple hours drive.
Yeah.
So they usually pack that out pretty good.
Yeah. But then when the men's team beat Northwest last year, that was a really fun game to broadcast, too.
Here in UCM, here in Warrensburg.
Yep.
Okay.
So, yeah, I had a lot of fun doing the streams for the sports broadcasting. Yeah.
What's your role in that? What are you doing in those games?
Oh, what don't I do, you know? Not the head honcho or anything like that, not claiming to be at all. But, you know, you take on a lot of different roles. You kind of just try to get as much experience as you can, regardless of if I'm directing, producing, technical directing. You know, sometimes I do replay. The games tomorrow, I'll be running replay, or not replay. I'll be running handheld camera, and then I'll run a stationary camera for the men's game. So you kind of just do a little bit of everything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun, though. It's a weird field to get into. Not a lot of people recognize it, you know, but it's really rewarding because every media that you see, there's a whole production team behind it. You know?
No doubt. I know we're very thankful for the work that you and the whole DMP team does. What does the future hold for you?
Good question.
Are we going to stay in this field?
Oh, yeah, that's the dream. That dream job, you know, work my way up to the NFL. You know, I'm probably planning to start either in minor league sports and then potentially, you know, college sports, whichever path I get to first, and then work my way up to professional sports. That's the dream, you know.
All right, well, good luck with that. Good luck coming up this week. Conference meet running short on time. I'm going to give you last word. Anything that we didn't touch on?
No, I think we're good. Hey, stay tuned for the Jennies and Mules this weekend. We're gonna have some fun.
Mules and Jennies track and field conference meet this weekend. Where can people follow you on social media?
They can follow me at Alisha Ann on Instagram, and, you know, that's about all I get on. So go ahead and check me out.
Is that Ann with an E or no E?
No E, man.
No E. Alisha Ann on Instagram. All right, for Alisha Straws, producer Evan Holmes, I'm Joe Hoffman. This has been another episode of the Roll Stable Podcast.